What a week. What a week, what a week, what a week. First, wearing my favorite shirt today. You're gonna learn today. Welcome back to Classroom Chat. Hey everybody, Mr. Thain here. If this is your first time on my channel, I do Classroom Chat vlogs every Friday where I just talk about teaching. I'm a kindergarten teacher and I do a daily vlog about my life. Sometimes I touch on teaching stuff, sometimes I don't, but on Fridays, it's always a teacher vlog. So that's once a week, every week, Friday teaching vlog, as well as my teaching tip videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you're into that sort of thing, or if you're into finding out what's going on with my life, with me and Kristen and Bear, my cat, consider subscribing to the channel, join the community. It's a pretty cool place to hang out. I've got 9 days, 9 days left, 9 days of this year. I can't believe it's gone by so fast. But this week has been kind of a roller coaster week. A handful of teachers have been posting this week about their rough weeks they've been having, behavior problems and that kind of thing, and I can echo that. Spring is always a very difficult time, especially at the end of the school year. Kids know school's almost over. You know school's almost over. Everybody's kind of running out of steam. At this point, most of your kids have probably taken some tests and they're just tired of it. And I felt it this week too. And today we had inside recess. So it's been a difficult up and down week. Really good times, really low times. But the key for it is stay positive personally, and one of my growth points this week that I'm kind of proud of is I did not let misbehavior get me down. I didn't take it personally. So a quick example is today when I picked up my kids from art, they some of them were just turned up, just like some of them, half my class was in line and half the other class was like crawling on the floor, and there was kids still in their seats making noises and flipping crayons, and I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I just calmly restated the directions. I told all of them that weren't in line to get in line. Some of them still did not get in line. I thanked the kids that were in line for being ready, and I said my expectations, hands on hips, bubbles on lips, eyes forward, and we started walking. We did the transition back to class. So what I did was, and I'm actually kind of proud of this one, what I did was, so since I don't have a behavior chart, I talked about this before, but I'll kind of reiterate for some of you new subscribers. The reason why I don't have a behavior chart is because the behavior chart that I had didn't work for about 25% of my students. And when you're talking about that large of a number, that's not a tier 1 intervention anymore. That's not a PBIS. That's not a positive thing. If it's not working for a quarter of your class, then you need to figure something else out. So I moved on to Classroom Dojo and some other things because of that, as well as just trying to get to the root of the problem versus being reactive with a clip, or having to juggle clip ups and downs. It was very difficult for me to do that with the amount of students that would get upset. If they moved their clip down, they would throw a fit and get upset, and it would take them from misbehaving to completely losing their mind. So this year, I wasn't able to do one for very long. I tried it, didn't work. Anyway, I digress. So just to kind of frame the situation for you. So we got back from art, which is a normal snack time. I give them about 10. We do about 10 minutes of a snack time. I throw on a PBS Kids episode of something, Cyber Chase or Super Y, Word Girl, Wild Kratts, something like that for about 10 to 15 minutes. And they have a snack. Their snack is usually leftover fruit from breakfast, something along those lines, a healthy snack. Today, however, being it Friday, I had a lot of leftover breakfast from today and from a previous day. It was prepackaged, so it was still good. It was like stuff that they wanted. It wasn't necessarily the healthiest stuff. It was like banana bread, and it was like sweet stuff. One was like a cherry applesauce. Anyway, there wasn't enough for everybody to have, so I wasn't going to pass it out at all because I didn't want to be anyone getting upset. So what I did was, everybody got snack. I did not take anybody's snack away from them. But what I did was, I called the students who were behaving well in art, and during the transition, I called them to choose their snack first. So when I got to the end of calling the kids that were not doing the right thing, they still were able to pick a snack, but all that was left was craisins. They liked craisins, but they wanted the banana bread, they wanted something else. So it led to a teachable moment for me when a couple of the students got upset that they didn't get banana bread, and I had mentioned to them, I said, well, next time, make sure that you behave in art and have a good transition. And so it was a consequence that I was happy with because I didn't take anything from anybody. They got a snack. They just didn't get what they wanted. So I think it got through to a couple of them. And to sort of like frame it, it was like silly behaviors. Like I know sometimes our students will misbehave because of things out of their control. Maybe some sort of outside influence, environmental influence, a non-stable home life. There's a lot of reasons students misbehave. Let's get that out of the way. I know that, you know that. But at the same time, sometimes kids are just acting up just to act up. It's a real thing. You can do all, you can talk about all the research. You can talk about what did I do as a teacher to make a student react a certain way, or what could I have done to prevent it. But at the end of the day, sometimes your students are just going to act up just for the sake of acting up. They're just being goofy just to be goofy. They're just misbehaving just to misbehave. It happens. They're kids. They're going to act like kids sometimes. And when that's the case, an appropriate consequence is the best direction. And I thought that was appropriate today, and I was able to talk with some of the students. The reason why it was a growth point for me was because the old me probably would have done one of two things. The old me might have denied them a snack altogether, or I would have taken what happened in art and in the transition, and I would have held on to that and denied them something else in the future and said, because of this, later on, you're not doing this. Which in kindergarten doesn't, if you've not taught kindergarten before, that doesn't necessarily work out well. Retroactive punishment, no, it just doesn't work for most kids. Like, you misbehaved first thing in the morning during breakfast, so now you miss your recess. That does not go over well. Some of them have a problem. Some of them have a hard time linking two and two together. It's not going to be that effective. So the old me, like I said, would have done something like that, some sort of retroactive punishment, but I was happy with the consequence. I thought that it was appropriate, and I didn't get any escalated behaviors. I was actually able to talk to them about it, which I think was the best course. So that was a growth point for me this week, was not allowing student behavior to dictate my mood. And I know that's an incredibly hard thing to do, especially when you put a lot of time and energy and care into preparing lessons, into interacting with students, and then students are misbehaving and it feels like you're losing control. It's very hard to not let that affect you personally and let it affect your attitude and mood. But it's something that I've been striving for all year, and I'm not finished with that yet. I'm still working on it. But kind of taking the growth point now and talking about something that I still need to work on for the rest of this year and moving into next year, and something that maybe you can help me with, or maybe you can help each other in the comments of this video if you also have the same problem. Now, I understand, and I've learned and researched a ton of different preventative PBIS, reward systems, consequence systems, clip charts, this and that, incentives, all types of those things. I'm good. I'm good on understanding the philosophy behind preventative systems in place. Positive relationships with students. I've done videos on a lot of that stuff, as well as you guys have given feedback and research, PDs. We all have been there. We know that. The problem that I have, and something that I'm trying to work on, and this is one of my things that I really want to get better at, is what to do when I feel like I'm starting to lose control. So what I mean by that is teaching a lesson or doing a transition, and it just seems like 4, 5, 6 kids are just not there. They're misbehaving, or they're talking, or it just feels like it's just a piling on, like you're putting out little small fires. Nope, we're not doing that right now. Sit down, please. No, we're not hitting. We don't need crayons right now. Put that away, please. Like, you're just putting out little fires, little fires, little fires. And yes, usually a whole group redirection would work in that scenario, but when I feel like I'm slipping and losing control, something that I need to do is I don't have a go-to move when a student or students are acting out of control or being defiant, and things that I am saying aren't working. Like, what then? What next? And that's something that I'm trying to improve on. Like, oh, things are slipping out of my control. If I do a whole group redirection, I'm gonna upset the kids that are doing it right, but I have to do something because this kid's not being safe, and then that kid's over there not being safe, and I feel like it's slipping. I need to continue working on ways and strategies to get the class back when things feel like they're slipping away from me, and not losing personal control and temper and raising my voice at an anxiety level, which can happen from time to time. But something that I did do today that was effective was, we've got a system in our school where we have a button that we press on our wall, and it gets a direct line to the office if we need any assistance with anything. Maybe something, something spilled and you need a janitor quick, or someone got sick, or a student's being unsafe and they need you need some help with that student. I've had to use that this year. This year's been a little bit. I've had to use the button from time to time. But we were transitioning from lunch to recess, which is always a very hard transition for me. And it was a terrible transition. It was awful. I had kids not in line. They were running, they were cutting, they were pushing, and I tried to redirect them in the hallway. I tried to give examples. I tried to narrate. It did not work. It just did not work. And I brought him into the classroom, and we put our heads down for a minute. I called the principal real quick to see if he could come down and assist me. He came down, and I just asked him, could he be here with me while I give my instruction, because I wanted them to hear the rules and procedure from somebody else. And he helped me. Him and I, we did a demonstration. We called a couple kids, and we did a safe versus not safe in the hallway procedure. What should it look like, sound like, feel like? We did that before we did recess. And him being in here assisting me with that allowed me to take a step back, regroup myself, and not get upset. So that was an amazing support system that I received today from my principal, and I thoroughly appreciated it. And it was a way to redirect. Now, obviously, our principals are busy and they can't always do that, but that's one route to go, is to get another adult in, take a step back, regroup, and try your best not to get negative and yell and lose personal control. And I've had situations this year where I have lost personal control and I raised my voice, and I felt bad. Like, right? Like, I don't want to yell at my kids. Like, I love my kids. I don't want to yell at them and get upset. But the thing of it is, like, sometimes it happens, and I'm trying to do everything in my power not to let it get that way. And yeah, so I was happy with that. But it's still something that I'm really trying to work on. For me, this year has been probably my most challenging year as an educator. I have a lot of high flyers this year, and a lot of students with a lot of emotional needs. And good days are really good, but bad days can get really bad really quick. So I have some good news, actually. Our end of the year assessments are based on letter identification and number identification fast. So how many can you identify in a minute? In my class, we met our goal. 70% of my students met the goal for reading, for letters, and 80% of my students met the goal for math. So in all of this chaos, amidst all the chaos and the crazy stuff, we did it. We got it done. I'm happy with our results academically, and it's not just that too. They're reading where I want them to be. They're writing how I want them to be, a majority of them, and it makes me feel good that my students are resilient. Like, some of my students who are so well behaved and so kind, they have to go through a lot. They have to witness kids flipping chairs and throwing stuff and jumping around the classroom and getting angry and tearing up the place almost daily, and they're able to persevere through that. Like, that's amazing. Like, I'm so proud of them that they were able to conquer that and move through it and achieve their goal. So yeah, that's a good news. That's a good happy thought to have and carry with me into next year is even though I did not have the level of control and crispness, if you will, as I do most years, we still got the job done and we still got the results that I needed academically. So what can you do? You know, sometimes you're going to have a rougher year behaviorally, but kind of is what it is. And so if you guys are dealing with any behavior problems right now at this point of the year, just know that you're not alone. And to leave you with a little bit of motivation at the end of this video, just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep pushing through, keep the smile on your face the best that you can, keep pushing. We're almost at the end. Some of you are probably already done, but we're almost to the end. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Know that it's not personal if your students are misbehaving. More than likely, it's not personal. Something's going on. Try to stay positive and try to have activities planned for the rest of the year, and it's something I'm going to do that are fun and different and unique because it's the end of the year. I'm going to try and leave my students with some happy memories for the end of the year, some fun activities, some things that we can get excited about. And enjoy the time you have. Enjoy the time you have with your kiddos for the last couple weeks of school, because next year they're going to have a new crop of kids to mold their minds and change their lives. So try and keep your head up. We're going to finish this year strong. I hope you guys had a great week. Find a gift, share it with the world, and remember, you are worth it. See you tomorrow.